Good morning, children. Today I am going to continue the same lesson of history of Unit 5, that is Social and Religious Reform Movements. Okay, earlier I told you about the Brahma Samaj, the importance of Brahma Samaj, about the Young Bengal movement, and later on, next I told you about the Arya Samaj, and the Arya Samaj had the following aims, and the next I am going to go is to the Prarthana Samaj. What do you know about Prarthana Samaj and who founded this Prarthana Samaj? So the influence of Brahma Samaj. Okay, what Brahma Samaj was started, that influence reached region beyond Bengal. So this Samaj took up various reformation movements influenced by Brahma Samaj. So this movement became influential in Western India, particularly in the areas of Bombay Presidency. Okay, so how this thing Pratana Samaj, the influence of Brahma Samaj, they were influenced by Brahma Samaj and they reached beyond Bengal. So Sis Samaj took up various reformation movements. Influenced by whom? The Pratana Samaj was influenced by Brahma Samaj. So this movement became influential in Western India, particularly in the areas of Bombay Presidency. Prarthana Samaj was founded. Now, who founded the Prarthana Samaj? So, the Prarthana Samaj was founded by Dr. Atmaram Panduranga. Keep it in mind, children. Prarthana Samaj was founded by Dr. Atmaram Panduranga in the year 1867 at Bombay with the aim of finding solution to various problems faced by women and lower caste group. So what is the aim of the Prarthana Samaj? To solve the problem. So it was started in Bombay in 1867 and who is the founder? Dr. Atmaram Panduranga. And what is the main aim of it? To find solution to various problems faced by women and lower caste group. So for the betterment of women and lower caste group. This association argued that reinterpretation of Hinduism is needed in the light of modern Western thinking. It also advocated that reformation should not be a wish but should be implemented in reality. So it shouldn't be only in the words, it should be in the deeds also. That is the meaning of it. So it advocated that reformation should not be a wish, only a dream, but you have to fulfill it, but should be implemented in reality. Many programs like education for women, rehabilitation of poor people were undertaken by the Prarthana Samaj. Justice Mahadev Govinda Ranade, R.G. Bandarkar and N.G. Chandravarkar were the important prominent leaders. So the scope of Prarthana Samaj got extended into various areas under the leadership of Justice Ranade. Ranade attempted to reject child marriage and discrimination of widows. He believed that legal intervention is needed to stop child marriage and encourage widow remarriage. So hence he advocated taking the help of the British government. So now who were the members, who were their children, prominent leaders for the Prarthana Samaj? Justice Mahadev Govinda Ranade, R.G. Bandarkar and N.G. Chandravarkar were the other prominent leaders. And the scope of, what is the scope of Prarthana Samaj? It got extended into various areas under the leadership of whom? Justice Ranade, that is Justice Mahadev Govinda Ranade. So Ranade attempted to reject child marriage. So he started rejecting child marriage and also the discrimination of the widows. The widows were done discrimination, so that also was rejected by Ranade. he believed that legal intervention is needed. Legal intervention means law is required. So if anyone legally, if they can stop, then this can be fully abolished. So he believed that legal intervention is needed to stop child marriage and encourage widow remarriage. So, to stop the child marriage and also to start the widow remarriage was started by whom? And he told that for all this, what is required? Legal intervention is required. Hence, he advocated taking the help of the British government. So, to do all these things, he wanted the helping hand of British government. Okay, children. Next, you can see the picture of Satya Shodhak Samaj. You can see the down picture of Satya Shodhak Samaj. It is already given to you. Okay, in the this thing you can see. Satya Shodhak Samaj, there were widespread discrimination based on, again it is on caste and gender in Maharashtra and just like in other parts of India. So during the colonial rule of the British, many movements were started to address these social problems. Satya Shodhak Samaj was established in 1873. Sorry children, it was established in 1873 to provide equal rights to non-Brahmin class and women. So there was a widespread discrimination where children on caste and gender. There was a caste discrimination and gender discrimination in Maharashtra and just like how it was in other parts of India. So that time whose rule it was? Colonial rule of the British was there. So many movements were started to address these social problems. Satya Shodhak Samaj was established in 1873 to provide equal rights to non-Brahmin class and women. Means caste discrimination and women, gender. Give equal rights for women, means men and women should be treated equally. And also the caste, there is no any particular caste, all the castes are same, Brahmin class or non-other Brahmin class. This Samaj was founded by Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. So, who founded Satya Shodhak Samaj? Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, in order to build a philosophical base for the movement. He wrote books like Gulamgiri and Shet Karya Cha. Asud, that is meaning is cultivators whip cord. He opened school for Shudras and girls. Phule, who belonged to Mali caste, allowed people from all other castes, including untouchable, to draw water from his well. Savitribai Phule joined hands with him in his endeavor. They established hostel for girls. They worked. Also is the work of Phule is important in the direction of establishing society based on equality. So Ambedkar also is one of the important person who was inspired by the work of this couple. Who is the couple? Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and his wife Savitribai Phule. Okay, children. So, the Samaj was founded by whom? This Satya Shodhak Samaj was founded by Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. So, in order to build a philosophical base for the movement. So, he wrote books like, so what all books he has written? The first one is Gulamgiri. Gulamgiri means we are working under somebody. It's a Gulamgiri. And the second is Shetkarya Cha Asud. Meaning of this is cultivators whip cord. Cultivator, those are doing cultivation, they have got a cord, whip cord. So that by that name he has written the books for the upliftment of the people. He opened schools for Shudras and girls. So he gave importance to the lower class and importance to girls' education. Pule, who belonged to Mali caste, he was belonging to Mali caste, but also he allowed from all the caste, including even untouchables from the lower caste, to draw water from his well. Savitribai Phule joined hands with him in his endeavor. So his wife Savitribai Phule also supported him for the betterment of whom? For the betterment of this Satyashodak Samaj movement. They established hostel for girls. The work of Phule is important in the direction of establishing society based on equality. So Ambedkar is one of the important person who was inspired by the work of this couple. Okay, so next I'm going to go is Aligarh Reformation Movement. So you know about Aligarh Reformation Movement. So by who started this? It was started by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Okay, Aligarh Reformation Movement was founded by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. By the end of the 19th century, a new wave of social and religious reformation was set in Muslim. So by the end of the 19th century, which wave of social and religious reformation was started? It was set in Muslims about the social and religious reformation in Muslim society. Anti-British sentiment became strong in Muslim community after the incident in 1857. So after the 1857 incident, the anti-British sentiment became strong. So it became still stronger among the Muslim community. As a result, they stayed away from the English education and as a result missed many opportunities that were based on English education. So they did not minded to lose any opportunities on English education and also they stayed away from English education. So during this period, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan attempted to start a new movement. So he himself came forward to start the movement. So the Mohammedan Literacy Society, established in 1863, started debates and discussions on the issues related to religion. So the new society was started, that is called as Mohammedan Literary Society, established in year 1863, and this started debates and discussion on the issues related to religion, social and political issue. So what this thing they were solving? The issues related to religion, social and political issues. The upper and middle class youth participated in these discussions and started realizing the value of English education. So the upper middle class and all started participating and they came to know the importance of English education. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan lived from 1817 to 1898. He declared that Quran is the authoritative book and other works on Islam are derived ones. So who started? Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. How long he lived? He lived from 1817 to 1898 and he declared which is the authoritative book? Quran is the authoritative book and the other works on Islam and are derived only once. He said, one has to interpret one's religion according to the changing times. Otherwise, religion becomes sluggish. Means if you don't interpret, if you don't follow your religion according to the changes, as the changes takes place, it will be sluggish. Sluggish means lethargic or not up to mark, sluggish. So see there, he said one has to interpret one religion according to the changing time, as the time changes, otherwise the religion becomes sluggish. Sir Ahmad Khan fought against traditions, superstitions, ignorance, and irrationalities throughout his life. So, Sir Ahmad Khan, for what he fought, children? For the sake of traditions, superstitions, ignorance of the people, people are ignorant, and irrationalities throughout his life. He said, without an open mind, any social and intellectual development is impossible. See what he is saying, it's very important. He said, if you don't have an open mind, any social or any intellectual development cannot take place. It is highly impossible. He did not support the parda system for Muslim women. He did not support the parda, wearing burqas. You know that, children. He called for educating Muslim girls. He did not accept polygamy. Polygamy means having more than one marriages also. He did not accept. So he did not accept polygamy. All into practice, he founded Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College in Aligarh in 1875. So what did he found out, Sir Ahmad Khan? He founded Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College in Aligarh in 1875, and he utilized this institution to spread Western scientific and cultural ideas. So this institution later became Aligarh Muslim University. So now it is known as Aligarh Muslim University later on. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan preached religious tolerance. He tried for unity among Hindus and Muslims. So he wanted religious tolerance. All should be treated equally, and he wanted the unity and peace among the Hindus and Muslims. For that he struggled. Hindus, Parsis, Christians donated liberally for the establishment of Aligarh College. So all the three religions, either it is Hindu, Muslim, Christ, Parsis, all of them gave enough donation when he started the Aligarh College. Admissions were opened for students from all the religion. The movement created by Syed Ahmad Khan, keeping Aligarh as a center, is called as Aligarh movement. So, Aligarh University, Aligarh College is called as the Aligarh movement after the name of the college. Okay, children. That is the end of it. Next I am going to go is Ramakrishna Mission. You have learnt about the Ramakrishna Mission. You can see the photo down below there. In your screen you can see down Ramakrishna Mission. Ramakrishna Mission has provided a unique contribution to India's spiritual growth, nationalistic awareness and cultural development. Swami Vivekananda founded Ramakrishna Mission at Belur near Calcutta in 1897. Advaita Ashrama, a branch of Ramakrishna Mutt, was established at Mayavati near Almora of Uttarakhand. So Ramakrishna Mission has provided what? A unique contribution to India's spiritual growth, nationalistic awareness, spiritual nationalism and cultural development in three fields. So Swami Vivekananda founded Ramakrishna Mission. The founder of Ramakrishna Mission is Swami Vivekananda at Belur near Calcutta in 1897. So it was in Calcutta in 1897. Advaita Ashrama, a branch of Ramakrishna Mutt, was established at Mayavati near Almora of Uttarakhand. Ramakrishna Mission was founded to carry the message and thoughts of Sri Ramakrishna, the spiritual guru of Swami Vivekananda. So his spiritual guru was who of Swami Ramakrishna? It was Swami Vivekananda. So Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he is from 1836 to 1886, was a worshipper of Kali. So he was a worshipper of Kali goddess and also a priest at Calcutta Kali Mandir. One has to attain moksha through dhyana and bhakti. So what is he saying, children? So one has to attain moksha. Okay, to get moksha, what you require? You require dhyana and bhakti, said Ramakrishna, and his life itself was an example of this model. He had believed that all religions advocate the same. He also believed that there are many ways of attaining moksha and the God. So he said, ideal worship is inevitable, not no use of idol worship. Dhyana and moksha are the more important ones. So, in order to spread the teachings of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda founded this mission. So, who founded the mission? Swami Vivekananda. So, Vivekananda is in 1863 to 1902, was born in Yakshta family in Calcutta, and he studied both. What education philosophies he studied? Western as well as Eastern philosophies. So after studying the Indian philosophy from different perspectives, he started preaching the importance of Indian philosophy to Indians as well as Westerners. He roamed around India for about 5 years after the death of his guru. Due to this, he could understand the social reality of India. He worked to establish a casteless society as he could see that society was deeply involved with caste-based discrimination. He also noticed exploitation, poverty, illiteracy and division among the Indians. So Vivekananda believed that people should be educated first and then they themselves seek reformation. He wanted legal institutions to implement appropriate rules to support the reformation. He also wanted people to stop following the Western idols blindly, and he believed it is the duty of the religion to provide light. Without this, religion religion is itself is of no use, declared Vivekananda. The one who responds to the poor is Mahatma, and the one who doesn't is Duratma. So he said one who responds to the poor is called as Mahatma, and the one who doesn't is called as Duratma. So he opposed caste system, untouchability and the idea of supremacy based on caste system. The Westerners could understand the cultural richness of India with the help of the speech delivered by Swami Vivekananda at Chicago City in Parliament of World Religion in 1893. He attracted the attention of the listeners while speaking at Congress of Religion held in Paris in 1900. His speeches mirrored his nationalist ideas. Interestingly, he had visited Mysore before his visit to Chicago as a guest of Chamaraja Vodaya X. As per the suggestion of Swami Vivekananda, Chamaraja Wadayar 10th started schools for untouchable children. Swami Vivekananda wrote books on Jnana, Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So Swami Vivekananda has written books on Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. His thoughts provided impetus to freedom struggle and he is asserted that the freedom includes social inequality also. So here I'll end this lesson, children. Again still I have to continue. I'll continue in the next class. Thank you, children, for watching this video. Please see, learn better, read the textbook and gain more knowledge. Thank you, children.